Yesterday, CNN hosted a town hall and Donald J. Trump was on there. He said a lot of things, and he doubled down on the things he did against the Second Amendment.
When Second Amendment rights came under attack, Trump abandoned us.
With gun violence and mass shootings in the news cycle recently, I'm worried that state governments and the federal government are going to act to repress gun rights. Under your administration, you instructed the Department of Justice and the ATF to ban bump stocks. If elected president again, how would you act not only to defend our Second Amendment rights, but to restore rights that have been taken from us, such as, by example, recently the ATF's ruling on the pistol stabilizing braces?
Yeah, as you know, the bump stocks are actually a very unimportant thing. And NRA, I went with them and they said it doesn't mean anything.
Yes, the NRA was for the bump stock ban.
Or actually, all they do is teach you how to shoot very inaccurately. So we did that.
Number one, the bump stock issue is a big deal. That set the precedent of everything we've gone through since. Frames and receivers, just change the rule. You know why? Because Donald Trump told the Department of Justice, just change the rule and ban bump stocks administratively. Well, let's change frames and receivers. Let's do away with building your own guns. Let's do away with things, I don't know, like pistol braces. They're doing it left and right because he opened the floodgates.
There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do.
That is why I have called for red flag laws.
Or like take the firearms first and then go to court. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yes, the NRA was for red flag laws, which is why Donald Trump was for both of those.
It's not the gun that pulls the trigger, it's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect our Second Amendment.
He and I introduced another assault weapons bill.
Diane, you have some very good ideas.
Diane, if you could add what you have also, and I think you can, into the bill.
Yeah, if you help.
Well, no, I'll help.
The 8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end.
Talking about changing an age from 18 to 21. I mean, I say that it should all be at 21.
You have a true friend and champion in the White House. No longer will federal agencies be coming after law-abiding gun owners.
We're getting rid of the bump stocks.
As your president, I will never, ever infringe on the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Never, ever.
That is why I have called for red flag laws.
No longer will the government be trying to undermine your rights and your freedoms as Americans.
Take the guns first, go through due process.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
The 8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end.
We're going to work on getting the age up to 21 instead of 18. We're getting rid of the bump stocks. There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do. Take the firearms first and then go to court. But take the guns first, go through due process.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
You have a true friend and champion in the White House.
Second Amendment secures those freedoms, and we have a gentleman running for re-election who has not been of the fighter he says he has been. In fact, he's done a lot against that core right.
Trump cut and run like a coward.
And if you don't think he still would be easily led, I don't know what to tell you. I got some issues with this.
Trigger warning. Opinions you may find offensive or just not want to hear inbound on your location. Seek cover immediately. You know, Trump did a lot of things well, and if I had a business, I'd gladly ask him some questions. However, the U.S. Constitution, rights, freedoms, liberties are not businesses. Due process. I'm not entirely sure Trump understands what due process is. Due process is not depriving someone of their property and Fourth Amendment, then having a hearing about it. Due process is not depriving someone of their property, then having a hearing about it in which that person is forced to meet a burden of proof of innocence contrary to the rights of the people, which places the burden of proof of guilt on the government, not the accused, but the accuser. Then forcing that person to be deprived of their property without a charge of a crime, without being convicted of a crime, without evidence of a crime, or intent to commit a crime, based on the allegations of someone whom could be lying about what they claim to know for their own malicious intent, such as revenge or anger, and simply using the system to enact their vengeance in such a manner. Oh, and don't forget about the subjective judges who like to either legislate from the bench or input their political views or anti-gun or whatever into their decision making. Let's not forget about them either. That not only deprives someone of their Fourth Amendment, but it also deprives someone of their First Amendment, preemptively. Because then, if they say something, someone in the list of people legally able to file red flag confiscation complaints disagrees with or dislikes about politics, about nation, about the government, about what that person's shirt looks like, that person can decide to use the system as a means to shut that person up. And that person may not be a person, it may be the government. Granted, this is all dependent on how the law is written in each state, but overall, and from what I've seen, it's a bad idea, a gross violation of constitutional rights, and it's not just a slippery slope, it's the side of a cliff wall with a terminal velocity plunge to the bottom where infringements are commonplace. And I'm no red flag expert, but I'd also suggest that at some point, if not already, the process is going to allow more government intrusion into your medical records, violating HIPAA, violating your privacy, which the government loves to do on the daily. All of this because of a potentially disgruntled person from your inner circle or someone no longer in your inner circle who now decides they dislike your politics, your opinions, or your words, or your shirt that day, and the tyrannical government is more than happy to listen to them and act on whatever that person decides to say.
And they'll use law enforcement to do it, and the police and the FBI and the courts.
Stop at nothing to make sure when you become a threat to them, that they make sure they take care of it, using our law enforcement system.
Then your heroes in blue are standing by to act as they are today. Stormtroopers, enablers, supporters, condoners, tyrants, by extension, or tyrants themselves, and a domestic hostile occupying force for the tyranny that comes to your door, for their paychecks, for their health insurance, for their food, for their car payments. But it's okay. It's okay. They'll tell you, I'm just following orders, and I'm just doing my job.
If you were ordered to unconstitutionally confiscate law-abiding citizens' firearms who've done nothing wrong, would you follow that order?
I have to do my job. Okay?
So the answer is you would be a tyrant. That's what I wanted to find out.
Follow rules, okay?
You have to follow rules, even if they're unconstitutional.
I have to do my job.
Even if they're violations of people's rights that you just claim that you support and uphold in accordance with the Constitution?
I have to do my job, and whatever it is that they may be, I have to do my job.
So you're an order follower.
Okay.
Gotcha. Tyrant in the making.
Have a good day.
You too.
And here's some snippets from a video of our federal heroes with badges showing up to protect your rights by changing their minds or suddenly deciding what you are allowed to own under the Second Amendment, and then deciding you're a felon. While they claim they don't want to be there, yet there they are, as they make excuses about being the stormtroopers and enforcers of the tyranny. You can find the full video on Guns and Gadgets channel. Don't tell him I sent you. I'm not entirely sure he'd be a fan of my channel.
I don't disagree with you at all.
I understand.
I don't want to be here any more than you want me to
Sure.
be here.
Hey, I don't want to be here any more than you want me to be here, but I'm just following orders. But I'm just doing my job. Tell us more, hero.
Well, the problem is you are the people who go and knock on the door. The citizens are speaking, but the government is making their decisions on what they think. They're not being servants to the citizens, right?
Did you hear him stutter and start to trail off like a robot who's having a circuit overload?
They're not being servants to the citizens, right?
His immediate psychological response was to try to block out anything that might pop his delusional bubble world. And just like most of them, when you bring up the logic, the facts, when you prove that they're going to do what they're told, that they're going to follow orders, that they're going to enforce tyranny, they can't handle it. They have no answers that are logical that can actually contradict. All they can do is run away or say things like, well, it seems like you're trying to make the world a better place.
Well, man, it sounds like you're trying to make the world a better place.
Maybe. You have a nice day.
Anything to get them out of that situation where they might have to actually face the fact that they're on the wrong team, that they're not heroes, that they, throughout history and are now being turned against the people, they're the first line of oppressive tyranny. Period. And then they run off. And the only thoughts they can keep in their head that doesn't cause them some psychological, emotional anxiety, trauma, and distress are, must enforce tyranny, must get paycheck, must do as told, must follow orders, must do job, must block out logical contradictions to my actions.
And all we're saying is, we, like you said, we just we are the ones that just come and knock on the door. We
Sure.
just enforce the laws. We don't make the laws. So.
Yeah, we're just the ones that come and knock on the doors. We don't make the tyranny, we just enforce the tyranny. So, you know, it's okay. Submit, sheep. Don't be mad at us. We're just doing our jobs. We're just following orders. Hey, let's play a game. Let's play Guess Who. Guess who else didn't make the laws? They just knocked on the doors. Guess who else didn't make the laws? They just helped transport people to the trains. Guess who else didn't make the laws? They just completed the objective when they got to their final destination and off the trains or off the trucks. And then guess who said, I was just following orders. I was just doing my job. Guess who? Yeah, we're just the ones that knock on the doors. We don't make the tyranny. We're just the ones who do as we're told. We're just the ones who follow orders. We're just the stormtroopers for tyranny.
And I understand you have families to feed. You're just doing what you're told so you don't get fired from your job. But there is a problem that exists, and at some point you have to make your decision on which side of the team you're on.
I've got news for you, sir. They've already made that decision. Local, state, federal, they've already made that decision. And you know what decisions they've made because they're at your door. You know what team they're on because they're at your door. You know to whom their oath is because they're at your door. Most of all, you know what decision they've made and what team they're on because of the uniforms and or badges that they're wearing when they're at your door. You know what? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Government is not your savior nor the solution. It's the problem. Judges and courts are not your savior nor the solution. Even the ones upholding the Constitution and their oaths are ignored often by the tyrants in government. We the people are the only solution, but we the people refuse to embrace that fact. Just remember, when you open your door to their smiling faces, well, I'll let Officer Brown say it since she seems to say it best.
We're here for you.
Everyone just relax. It's okay. It's okay. They're here for you.
We're here for you.
In more ways than one. Well, I'll sure sleep better tonight knowing they're there for me, won't you? And Pastor number 4 is now open. I now return you to your regularly scheduled grazing.
We're here for you. We're here for you. We're here for you. We're here for you. We're here for you.